In this video, we're going over Delivery Rocket Documentation 2, Part 2, which is the dimensioned drawings. So, in the last video, we used a decision matrix to decide between our three initial ideas, the small fins, the medium fins, and the large fins, and we've selected the medium fins as our choice. And so, I'm going to start here by, once again, putting a label at the top. We're going to do Delivery Rocket, sort of the project name first, and then I'm going to do the assignment part. So we're going to say that's dimensioned drawing. So in this drawing, I'm going to make a more detailed view of some of these parts. Once again, I've decided to use this. And in this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to do this one somewhat to scale, at least using my grids. And so let me start by kind of working on my nose cone bit. Now at this point, I'm going to keep these parts somewhat separate. And so I'll draw my body here, down below it, and then at this point, I'm going to cut off this part. So I'm going to have some wall thickness in this rocket. So it's going to have a little space within. Then I need a section of my nose cone that projects down to fit inside of that rocket body. Right? And so that should be the same as the body minus that. Really, I think that at some point I'm going to do some section analysis, a little bit of a cross-sectional view of this. Now I will just draw that down like so. And then what I'll probably do is just something like this. I'll curve around that outside here. And then I'm going to do some dotted lines here to kind of indicate a cross-section. Let's cross-section this here. Now, then we'll have a wall thickness, and we can follow more or less the standards of the way that it's done in Fusion, which is to show that this is being cross-sectioned by creating these diagonal lines going down, like so. All right. And so there we can depict our wall thickness, but we could also depict another important part of what we need, which is a space for our engine mount as well as our engine to fit into, right? And so I might have something like, I'll do my lines going the other way here so they don't overlap each other. I might go ahead and depict that here, like so, so that I have both my pieces there. So we have the outer bit of the rocket and the inner part here, right? And then we've got the cone separated. We might even put a little line to indicate that that goes there. And in this case, I've got that Estes motor put into it, but I could also draw it down below here, something like this, if I wanted to, and then make some kind of indication that it goes in there. Then we'll need the fins. We went with a medium-sized fin. Let's go draw about like that here. So now I've got a pretty basic layout, but then I can make some decisions about the size. So I know that this here is 70 centimeters, or 70 millimeters, or 7 centimeters. So I'll just put that as 7 cm, which there we go, get that up to where you can see it. And so there's that 7 cm on my, this is intended to be the engine for it, and as well as the engine mount. We'll say it's 7 centimeters. That's 7 centimeters. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This must be 4 centimeters. 4 cm, right? And so we got that. In that case, then these must be 3 centimeters, right? And so I can go around, and this was actually 1.8. This is a little bit bigger than it should be. But it also has the that's for just the engine. With the mount, it actually come out to about 2 total. So let's just bring that up to 2 since it will match the scale of it. 2 centimeters cm. And we need a wall thickness here. So I could do a little leader line. So I'll put a 0.1. Now, I've been largely working in inches, and so it's usually better not to mix units though, and so I'm going to just say instead that following my, well, that to me looks like about 0.3 of this box, maybe a little bit, maybe 0.2 centimeters, which would be the same 0.2 centimeters. Let's just keep it as all in centimeters. Think about it. And so here then becomes, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. And finally another section over here, 2 centimeters. And I might even put a note that something like 1 grid equals 1 centimeter. Might not be a bad idea to let you know of the overall scale. I think I've got most of the major components, most of the major dimensions that I would need to create this, at least in a most minimal kind of way. And so this is a very simple version of the dimensioned sketch that you need for Delivery Rocket Documentation 2, Part 2.